Yes.
Fabulous. We're so excited.
Everybody's very positive.
I try not to get as excited as I just got because then I get disappointed when I leave.
I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't lie. I probably would have liked it. But I should I'm so proud.
Well, you were already like singer and it was okay. It was,
pull it out of the
everything happens at the right time. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna go with it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our May 2nd work session. Thank you very much for coming tonight. I'm Mayor Holman and I'm present. I will call the roll. Councilman Demmett. Here. Councilman Powell. Here. Councilman Randall. Here. At this time we will have informal, if anyone has any questions or comments on agenda items, I'll take those now. We'll have general comments at the end of the work session, time allowing. If we run out of time in the work session, we'll have general comments at the end of the regular meeting. So I'll start on my right. If anybody has any questions or comments about agenda items that are on the work session agenda? My left. All right. And we'll get into an informal discussion of our agenda items tonight. The first item we have is the LCI plan. William, you got any comments on that?
Yes, sir. We've been very, very busy and active for the last 6 months, as you know, putting the plan together. Our consulting team is here if you have any questions directly for them, but at 7 o'clock they will present the highlights of the plan. The document is coming together. Staff is still going over the actual draft, but we do have a very extensive PowerPoint presentation which we try to provide, and I'll just turn it over to the consultants if they have any questions of them. Otherwise, we'll be ready at 7 and we'll walk you through the plan as it sits. There are certain things that we have to cover per the agreement with the ARC that was the funding agency. There are certain state requirements we must cover in the comp plan. All of those things, my understanding is, been covered, and that is basically what we'll be walking through.
Council, any questions on the LCI before the presentation?
I appreciate all the hard work everybody put into it.
Great job.
It's a great process. It's a great process. I'd like to amend the agenda real quick, just to add a discussion. I'd like to put on the agenda a discussion for porch paying for city services. There's an informal discussion.
Okay. So you're going to place that in the form of a motion?
I make a motion that we add porch paying for city services to the 6 o'clock agenda.
Is there a second for that?
Second.
Second discussion? All in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed? So we will put that in under new business.
Okay.
I'd like to amend the agenda, I guess the 6 o'clock agenda. Doesn't matter which time, but I would like to, at some point, it's imperative to me that we have public input on the replacement of the alderman position. And I notice it's not on either the 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock agenda, and I would like to make a motion that we have a discussion up here and about the replacement and the process we're going to use for replacement for the alderman position.
I was actually going to make an opening remark at the 7 o'clock meeting about where we are and what the process is.
Okay, so,
I mean, you're welcome.
because I might have an idea.
That's fine.
Might put it in with your opening remarks.
The governor is responsible.
Right, but I know how we can get suggestions to the governor, so I think I still want it on there.
That's fine.
Okay, so,
So motion to amend the agenda.
Are we going to amend this agenda, or do you want to amend this 7 o'clock agenda?
it doesn't matter to me. 7 o'clock.
Well, do you want
Okay.
to do your speech early, or do you want to do it at 7?
I was planning on doing it at 7.
Okay.
And so,
We'll amend the 7 o'clock meeting to show discussion for procedure for replacing the alderman position.
all right. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
discussion?
Do you want to put it after the LCI presentation, or let it be, follow your?
I was gonna do it on the front end of presentations. I think everybody's kind of
Yes.
sitting, waiting
Waiting.
to hear, so.
Yeah.
we'll do that. All right, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion to amend the agenda, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Okay, any other agenda, I was gonna say gender modification, but agenda modification?
For this agenda, no. I'll vote for the 7 o'clock.
Okay. Next item we have is, the 7 o'clock meeting is the driveway surfacing. As you know, we've been kicking this one around for a little while. So we're going to follow back up on that. Are there any questions, comments on that item?
I'd like to get council members Dimick's ideas on, we were talking about this when you were out of town, hanging out on the beach. Oh, no, you weren't on the beach, I'm sorry. Hurt hip. You're in excruciating pain.
Lounge umbrella.
So what we were talking about is, I think it's 5 years that we are going to allow the gravel to stay on the ground. But after 5 years, we either have to pave it or come to council, and council will say yes or no, whether we get an extension or not. So my idea
Okay,
was to tie it into if you had homestead exemption or not. So that way, you're not getting investment properties that are asking for some kind of variance.
I like that tie-in, and I think, I was even considering this over the last few days, whether we needed to say 5 years or whenever the property sells, whichever comes first. So that the seller of the property would have to make known to the buyer that the
I thought we talked about this at the last meeting.
Can't
We
do
talked
that.
about,
It couldn't be tied to the sale.
no, I was talking about the rental versus home ownership. Because
We did talk about it. I thought it was just want her input, and then I was going to.
Yeah, I just
Okay,
wanted to know.
yes, I like that idea.
Yeah, I just wanted to
I like
know.
that idea.
Now, the thinking on that, that was brought up is there might actually be a landlord that's renting a property that is not some rich mogul from some other place. It might just be someone that happens to have a property and is not financially doing that well, and would they be disqualified because they don't have a homestead? So we thought if everybody came to council, then there's that choice of yes or no, no matter what the circumstances are. Because there could be difficult circumstances for people, even if they were, quote, a landlord.
Okay, so does that leave us enough, is that too broad of a legal avenue to go down that we decide,
I think it's safer, because I think when you start bifurcating and you treat, and I know the ultimate goal is to have more owner-occupied homes.
Right.
But when you start treating classes of people in a different way, just because one owns a house and one's an absentee landlord, I think slippery slope from my perspective, but.
Well, and I guess I was going more towards the landlord, here's a Buckhead mogul who has 12 Hapeville homes, and here's one guy who's trying to supplement income, and he might have one Hapeville home, so that's my idea of, is that too broad of a stroke that we pick each one, and do we need to narrow it down on what would allow us, what considerations do we look at before deciding to make an exception?
But you can see where you might have a 70-year-old woman that still owns a property, not living there, renting it out, but because she doesn't have the homestead exemption, it's a definite and not something to be thought about.
Right.
So that was, I know that these are extremes, but they do come
Yeah.
up. And so it seemed we could handle each one. I don't think it's a huge amount.
I agree.
And it probably won't be we in the next 5 years.
Right. Whoever.
I just thought it should have heart in it, either way.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Any input, Steve, from the legal side?
You have two options. One is to take it on a case-by-case basis, which has the downside of, at some point, you could be accused of paying favorites and not. Or you could put another page in your code to tie down all these what-ifs.
I just, from my own
So
perspective.
I think at the end of the day,
having them come to council, then each individual person complete their case, and there may be an anomaly with one that doesn't fit everybody.
If that becomes a problem, we can change the rule after that.
And that gives people a path.
Okay.
All right, any other questions or comments on the driveway service? All right, the next item we have is consideration action to approve the expenditure of $315,431 for property, casualty, and excess workers' compensation insurance. This is a renewal of our package that we get through government, the state's agency that insures us for our workers' comp, terrorism, cyber liability, risk management. And there's an increase. The 16-17 premium is $278,128, and the 2017-18 premium is $315,430. Any questions or comments on this?
So why did it increase so much?
Because it's insurance. I don't know.
Is
Was there
there-
a particular reason given?
We added a coverage we didn't have, or I think that was one of the reasons, and then it just generally went up. I mean, those were the two reasons that I'm familiar with.
Which packs
Was it the cyber
ADA?
liability that we added, or?
No, we added the impact, AD&D.
What is that?
So this would cover, it's an accidental life insurance policy that would cover all of our city employees for up to $50,000 for any act of terrorism or felony assault or things of that nature.
Emergency.
No.
Hopefully our
That
employees will
was
be doing
committed
terrorism.
against them.
The employee, okay.
Yeah. So let's just say, one example is it also cover emergency situations, right? So if we had a tornado come through, and we had workers out there, and basically someone gets hurt or killed, that would be an additive to their life insurance policy, because it happened in the line of duty.
Does the employee's family get it or the city get it?
The family would.
Family,
Or whoever their beneficiary.
yeah, whoever they name as the beneficiary.
So that's $3,000 for the increase, and
And then we had claims that resulted
yeah, we've got
in
workers'
the
comp claims.
Higher.
higher
Yeah.
premium.
Okay.
Our risk experience wasn't as good this year.
Okay, any further questions or comments on that?
So have we increased the workers' compensation? Or are we still at the same level that we were at last year?
We're still at the same level. So our workers' comp, the excess workers' comp is going up like $3,000,
Okay.
but the deductible has remained the same. So
Okay.
we're actually below other places, so our deductible is $400,000 and then $450,000 depending on the incident.
Okay.
We actually have a lot of exposure there. And so
I know.
What we
That's-
try to
that's-
do is.
That's where I was heading with that question.
Right, and I'm with you, boss. So the way we're trying to mitigate that is through training, education, trying to make sure, I mean, so far, the city has had a very good track record. And, you know, basically that could change like that. But the point is, we try to be preventative, we try to, you know, do a good job with that, and, you know, the safety.
So do we price out cheaper, or I'm sorry,
This is
lesser
the-
deductible? Like a $100,000 deductible? Have we priced that out?
For the excess workers' comp,
Yes.
Yeah, we've looked at going down and
Yeah.
increasing our exposure, but the premium would go way up. So right now, we are suggesting we stay the same, and this is the third year of a 3-year contract, so we're gonna be relooking at everything for the next fiscal year.
Oh, so we're in a 3-year contract with them?
Yes, this is the third year, Jennifer,
Okay.
of this.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments on that? All right, next item is graffiti ordinance 2017-10, our first reading tonight. This is an effort to provide relief for potential effects of graffiti and the deterioration of the area that it causes. what we're doing is tightening up the enforcement windows. Currently, 30-day requirement, and the chief feels like it would be good for us to move that to a 7-day. And then a plan of action to be submitted within 3 days of the notice of violation. And that goes to the owner of the property, right?
Yes, sir.
Any questions or comments on that item? Next item, at our last meeting, representative was here regarding a human trafficking ordinance. So that would work. Let's see. Yes, ordinance. They're asking for an ordinance, Fulton County is regarding human trafficking, so this is the first reading of the ordinance to do instead of actually. Any questions or comments on that item? Okay. All right, so we'll get into new business, and under new business, we have some board appointment vacancies. We currently have a Board of Appeals, a Design Review, and an Ethics Committee. So just keep that. I don't know if anybody's ready to make a motion on any of these tonight, but keep it in mind that we need to get this started pretty quickly.
I guess I want to make a comment. I've got the City of Pecos 2017 appointments, and in it, I don't show any vacancies, so I think what we need is the list of you. I know we ran into a big problem the last time there was an appointment to the Ethics Board, and currently, according to this, there are 5 members and no vacancies serving on the Ethics Board, but yet I show that one of the ones we're supposed to fill is an Ethics Committee member.
Correct. Since that list has come out, we've had a member resign from that board. Anthony Marrero has resigned.
So the list was accurate, we had a
Until-
resignation.
Until we had a resignation.
Okay, well, didn't we appoint Robert Hall?
But
Yeah,
that,
but that doesn't-
someone else, that,
That was for Betty
Betty
Barnett's
Barnett's
resignation.
position was Mr. Hall.
Even though there was some question of whether she resigned or not.
She wanted to be off the board.
Okay, because I think there were other people in the community that said she did not want to be off the board, but she told you she wanted to be off the board.
I've had a direct conversation with her.
Okay, so she wanted to be off the board, so that was Robert Hall, okay. And so currently, so then Anthony Marrero is, or Raymond Farr. Anthony is resigned, okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
All right. So any other ideas on that? All right, William, next up is the discussion of the citizen chalkboard.
yes, sir. Sarah Patnon, the intern who put that project together, has had a conflict with her class schedule and is not available tonight, so we've submitted a report and draft, and if it's okay with council, I'd like to ask her to put it on the next agenda.
Sure. Y'all cool with that?
Yeah. Just gotta get that doctorate done.
Yes.
All right, and then the next item is discussion of, let me back up, because I forgot the Porsche thing. So let's talk about the Porsche. Councilman Powell has sent out an email regarding Porsche Cars North America and the fact that we provide police and fire services to their headquarters. And I think we want to discuss that.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what council's thoughts were and where staff's thoughts were with regard to asking Porsche to pay for some of the services that were provided. Did get that letter from Chief Bloodworth that said that we can't charge. Is that correct, Chief Bloodworth?
No, it's,
Or is that for ambulance
Is that
service?
different?
it's just we're under a mutual aid agreement with Atlanta, so when we get a call, we respond over there as mutual aid, as we would have Atlanta respond to our city under mutual aid.
Okay,
The EMS side of it's totally different, that's Region 3, and that's supplied by Fulton County 911 EMS.
okay, so basically, they want to make sure that their EMS is being serviced over there, correct?
Well, I think
They want our,
we left it up to the force,
well, I know that they would want us.
yeah.
But- Okay, So, when we respond to Porsche, that's a mutual aid, so they call us?
Yeah, they call
Okay. Why are they calling us on like an alarm?
Fire alarm.
Oh, yeah, well.
Can't
Fire
they?
department on fire alarm.
Well, I know we do, but if it's mutual aid, don't you think that their Atlanta Fire Department should run on, like a fire alarm, I don't think it's a mutual aid response.
I believe
I don't know.
that the security, we went through this, David, when they first opened. I think that their security people call us on alarm, because it'll take Atlanta 15 or 20 minutes to get there.
When we first did this, I'm glad you brought this back up, we said we were gonna monitor it for a year and see what kind of calls we got, because we were thinking, well, it's gated, it's this, it's that, it might not be enough to even consider. But is it? So if it is, then what is the consideration?
Well, the consideration is part of Porsche wanting to come to Hayville, they wanted two things. They wanted us to rename Henry Ford, and they wanted us to be first responders for their situation.
And they wanted us to redo the regular corridor.
Yeah, that was already in the works, that
Yeah.
was in the process. So, we agreed, we talked about fees, and then we didn't talk about fees, and the agreement was that we would go back, we would look at it, and we would see what kind of impact it had. But I think the perception from some people is that Porsche is not a taxpayer in Hayville. Their headquarters is not in Hayville, but they own 30 acres adjacent to that site that they're paying taxes on. Plus, they're a water sewer customer, so they're not getting like a totally free ride.
Not a totally free ride. But I just want to make sure that we're getting the services to our citizens that are actually paying for it. And this is fire, Michael, and it's the whole year, and it's only 5 calls, right? Is that the way I'm reading this? So for fire, I think 5 calls is okay. But my question is, I guess for Chief Lavasek, when I look at the police reports, the concentrated extra patrol, can you explain what that is?
Certainly. As a part of our COMSTAT program, we direct our patrol efforts to wherever we're experiencing issues. This concentrated patrol really came as a result of some of the construction site break-ins that was going on prior to the Solis building going up. There was a couple of car break-ins where the Porsche employees were parking in the lot that is actually in the city of Lakeville. And so that's where this concentrated patrol effort came from. You'll notice in the report, there's a couple other issues that we're showing traffic stops and whatnot. Those
Yeah.
are actually technically not on Porsche, it's on the street.
Right, and I understand that. I threw this out.
Okay. Other than that, really, we might have had 1, maybe 2 responses to the actual facility. And then that was going to be related to something else, like we would respond to the guard shack, where they would report, something that was going on at the construction site.
Okay.
So really, we're not responding to Porsche on any incidents there, inside the facility.
So, a question with the concentrated extra patrol. Sorry I didn't call you about this earlier. I was getting really busy. Where it says 1 Porsche Drive, do you have the paper with you?
I do, yes, sir.
And then the other one says Henry Ford, the 2nd Avenue.
Right.
Porsche Drive. Is there a difference? Is one Porsche outside of Atlanta and or in Atlanta, one Porsche inside Hapeville? Like, how's that disseminated?
Yeah, it's really the way they were input, which I need to go in and make sure that these are cleaned up, because there could very well be a distinction. Because prior to the Solis coming in, our officers were using the only address they knew. So
Yeah.
that would be like the 1 Porsche or the 420. So the short answer is, yes, the reporting is not exactly accurate.
Okay.
So I need to identify that. I can give you specific reports so you'll know, because in the officers' narratives, they're describing what took place. Like they went to the guard shack, they reported that, there was a break-in at this lot. There was one incident that I'm aware of that somebody ran through the guard shack, at the gates. And we were in the area, and we responded and identified the person. But other than that, really, it's everything. Everything is really going to be in that parking lot, where it's now the Solis Hotel,
Okay.
primarily.
Okay. So that should
And
pretty
that's
much
city
be
limits,
ending.
I think.
Yeah, which I completely understand. I just wanna make sure that we're not putting extra patrols over there and not on our streets. You know, so I wanna make sure that, as a person that's had an armed robbery in my front yard and a car stolen in a month,
Right.
that we are patrolling in our city and not in the city of Atlanta.
I can give you that 100% assurance. There's a very rare time that our officers will go inside the gate of what is Porsche. So everything that you see here in our extra patrols, those are actually outside. Those are in the Hapeville portion of that parking lot.
Okay, well, I'd like to see that
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
some point. So, I see that there's fees, and this all went out in 2014. How does council feel? Like, is this something that is negligible and not to worry about it, or is this something that we want to proceed with? I just want to make sure that, and once I have a consensus, I'll let it go.
I don't see the frequency. This is meant, you said 5 here.
I guess this is numbered. That's the fire department. This is the police department.
And while you're looking at that, I would just add that I just added up the 3 different tax bills that they get, and that $69,000 was the amount they paid in taxes last year. So
Yeah.
I think that's a consideration. that
It's
they
over
are-
86 if you
Sorry?
total, it's about 86 when you total them all. There's an
Okay.
18,000 plus the other one.
$49,807.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
I just, and whatever proceeds, I'm not trying to put this in the pocket of the general fund. I want this to go hire more police. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put more police on the streets and using every way, we've asked people to pay their fair share recently. We've asked people that have buildings 4 stories and more to pay their fair share of the fire truck because we're not using it. We've asked our employees to pay their fair share by increasing deductibles and by making insurance more expensive. We've asked, now we're going to soon ask the builders to pay their fair share because we're going to increase the building fees. And we've asked the citizens to pay their fair share because of the stormwater fees. I just want to make sure that Porsche, who makes billions, is paying their fair share. And if they get upset over paying a few $1,000s, then I don't think we had that relationship with them. I feel like we should have a relationship with them where, the city manager goes and talks to the guy up front or the head guy.
And what makes you feel like we don't have a good relationship?
I don't know.
I mean, they sponsor events in Hayden. They donate money to organizations in Hayden.
Well, if they'd be angry about paying.
I didn't say they would be angry, and I'm more than happy to take, that's consensus of council. I've got a meeting with Joe Foles Friday on another matter. I'll be more than happy to bring this up. If that's what y'all want me to do.
Well, I don't know that we have developed a fee structure. I don't think you can go to them and say, hey, you guys mind chipping in a couple grand?
No, I think that
I
there
don't
should be.
think we've determined what fee we can say that we can charge yet. So I don't know.
I would agree with that.
I just want to make sure that there's a consensus.
I mean, at one time, Chief, I believe we came up with and this was police and fire, we came up with an estimated amount to roll a police car and an estimated amount to roll a fire truck. So, I just,
It was like $56,000 a year. Was that, and that was assuming, I think, Chief, 4 calls per month. I think that's what I
I
remember.
don't remember being that much.
I think that's what that 56,000 was based on.
It sounds right. It's a couple thousand, I believe, a month, something along those lines, as I recall. And that was also contemplating us actually providing full service to Porsche. That was in that discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what the context was for that.
Well, I guess my question would be, I'm not saying we should do anything either, but we said that after a year we would look at it. Why? What would we do if we decided it was more
Well,
frequent?
I would, my thought when we said that was, if we had, 15, 20 calls a month, we go sit down and say, all right, guys, you're beginning to tax our operation. So, we need to talk about that. But I don't know that the frequency is enough that it's like putting our citizens in the back seat and Porsche ahead of them. Again, there are other discussions that, you know, Porsche's got that land for future expansion. There's been some talk about track expansion. So they're going to be paying more taxes than they're paying now. They're paying taxes on raw land right now. So as things change and things develop, then there's an opportunity for a larger stream of revenue.
So what Rick Glavis had put out September 11, 2014 was based on 5 calls per month, and that was $4,375. We're not getting 5 calls a month. So I'm wondering if there's another way that we could fee structure this on a per call basis, or, I don't know, or I just let it go. It depends. Got
Well,
it?
consensus, Steve's raising his hand.
If memory serves, we have
I
a
see my mother coming in, I'm
an
really.
intergovernmental agreement with the city of Atlanta, and this provides that we will provide this service for free, so we would have, not for free, but in a mutual fashion with Atlanta. So we would have to revisit that agreement as well, if we were gonna do what you suggest.
Yeah. So that brings up another question that I had. What's the difference between mutual aid and immediate mutual aid? I think, so basically, because I saw the contract with Atlanta that Hayville PD's immediate.
No, Hayville, the PD is mutual aid. That is that we will go, if Atlanta Police needs us, if they need our support at the facility. Automatic aid, as I understood it when we were vetting it the last time, was going to be that there would be like a concurrent jurisdiction. And I'm not sure the language in the fire agreement, but theirs actually refers to automatic aid for fire services.
Okay.
So, and Chief Glover might be able to speak more on that.
We can talk about this later. I didn't know the difference. I saw both.
In one, you come when you can, and the other, you come.
You have to come.
Yes.
Okay.
What is the protocol if we have activity at Porsche and then there's a need in Hayville? Do we get that mutual aid from 34, or what do we do on that? I mean, because we don't have that many trucks. Yes, sir.
Are you talking?
Yes.
Fire? Well, most of these calls that we go there on the alarm rings, we're not there long enough.
But if you were and there were a need, do we have?
We're part of GMAG, and all we would do is send out a response, and other departments would send us units.
Because 34 would be the closest, wouldn't it? Or would it be East Point or something like that?
It would depend on which side of the city.
Okay.
Because, I mean, if it's back up on this side, we notify East Point and College Park as soon as we do.
But there's always a protocol if we're tied up with some equipment, correct?
Yeah.
That's what I think people need to
We
know.
all back each other up. There's an automatic, it depends on the scenario of what's happening at the time, but we all back each other up. And there's this cross GMAG agreement where we.
Okay.
Except